My stepmother inadvertently ruined my deceased mother's wedding gown that I had been preserving for my own wedding ceremony. When she requested to use my beach property for her anniversary celebration, I gave her permission but neglected to inform her about the sewage problem I had been aware of. Her ideal getaway turned into a literal nightmare. My mother succumbed to cancer when I was 16 years old. Prior to her passing, she made my Aunt Madeline vow to safeguard her wedding dress for me. It was an absolutely stunning vintage gown from the early 1990s, featuring intricate lace and miniature pearls that she had meticulously sewn by hand. I have this particular photograph stored on my iPhone showing her spinning around in it, radiating pure joy. That image has served as my lock screen for years. Whenever I glance at it, I recall how she would often say that certain things are crafted with love, and you can sense it in every single stitch. She dedicated 6 months to adding those pearls individually while watching Friends reruns on our old VHS player. 3 years following my mom's death, my father married Samantha. She is, well, someone who constantly tries excessively hard to be the ideal wife and mother while perpetually reminding everyone how much more capable she is at it compared to my mom. She enjoys sharing these carefully arranged family photographs on her Instagram account, typically accompanied by captions about blended family blessings and being a bonus mom. Despite my repeated requests that I'm uncomfortable with her using that terminology, last Thanksgiving, she even created a TikTok video about mending broken families using our photographs, without seeking my approval. I discovered this when my college roommate forwarded me the link last month. I became engaged to Levi when I shared the news with the family. Samantha immediately began organizing our wedding through her Pinterest boards. Even though I had explicitly told her I preferred something intimate and personal, she developed this entire board titled Modern Bride, Modern Life and distributed it with literally everyone in her Facebook mom group. However, I could tolerate that. What I absolutely could not tolerate was what transpired afterward. The dress had been kept at my mom's closest friend Ivy's residence, properly maintained in one of those specialized preservation containers. Yesterday, Samantha volunteered to assist by collecting the dress, and she was nearby and delivering it to my home. I was on a FaceTime conversation with my best friend Natalie when Samantha showed up carrying the box as if it were a simple grocery bag. She placed it down on my kitchen counter directly beside an open bottle of red wine. I recall thinking that seemed peculiar because Samantha doesn't even consume red wine. She constantly talks about how she exclusively drinks white wine because it's cleaner. Then she insisted on opening the container right there. Despite my suggestion that we should wait and do it appropriately with my aunt present, you can likely anticipate what occurred next. As she was supposedly pulling the dress out, her elbow happened to strike the wine bottle. The entire contents spilled directly onto the dress. However, here's what troubled me most. Her reaction was what truly caught my attention. She didn't show panic. She didn't rush to absorb the liquid or attempt to clean it. She simply stood there for a moment with this strange little smile before beginning her theatrical "oh no" performance. It reminded me of those unconvincing acting videos on YouTube where people fabricate reactions for insurance fraud claims. I was still on FaceTime with Natalie, who witnessed the entire incident. She insists she observed Samantha's hand move toward the wine bottle before it toppled over. But the video quality wasn't sufficient for us to be completely certain. Natalie immediately began recording her screen, though, because she expressed that something felt suspicious. I contacted my father in tears, and his response was predictable. "Honey, it was simply an accident. Samantha feels awful. We can purchase you any dress you want." You want him to understand, but he doesn't grasp that it's not simply about the dress itself. It's about the final piece of my mom that I had for my wedding day. This morning, Samantha had the boldness to send me a link to some $300 David's bridal dress with the message, "This would look so much better on you anyway." Then she shared this lengthy Facebook post about accidents occurring for a reason and how sometimes we need to release the old to welcome the new. She tagged me in it, but I blocked her before I could view the comments. Then she had the nerve to ask if she and Dad could use my beach house for their anniversary celebration next month. She knows it's the only thing I received from my mom's side of the family. It's this small cottage on the coast that my mom's parents left me, and Samantha has been trying to persuade me to sell it since she married Dad. She even had a real estate friend mistakenly list it online once. I told her sure, of course, with a smile that would make her proud. Because what Samantha doesn't know is that I received a call from my handyman Joseph last week about a serious sewage problem that needs fixing. He sent me photos and detailed messages on WhatsApp showing the issues. I just haven't had time to handle it yet. And honestly, I might be too busy to mention it to her before her big party. She's already posting about her perfect beach house anniversary celebration on Instagram, complete with rental furniture and a hired photographer. First update. Thanks everyone for the support on my last post. It really helped me get through the past few days. I've been hesitant to share this update because I wanted to be completely sure about what I discovered. So here's what happened since then. After my last post, Ivy, Mom's friend who was storing the dress, called me sounding really uncomfortable. She said she'd been reviewing her Ring doorbell footage from that day because something had been bothering her. Turns out Samantha didn't just show up once to pick up the dress. The camera caught her doing a drive-by of Ivy's house around 8:30 in the morning, circling the block twice. Ivy only noticed because her neighbor had texted her about a car driving slowly past their houses. She didn't think much of it at the time. When Samantha came back at 2:30 in the afternoon for the actual pickup, she had a Target bag with her. I know it's not solid evidence of anything, but watching her carefully move something from the bag to her purse before ringing the doorbell just feels strange. The more I watch it, the more deliberate everything seems. My stepsister Eva has been texting me small bits of information, but she's scared of getting too involved. She mentioned that Samantha had been weirdly focused on my engagement announcement, spending hours on wedding planning websites even before I said anything about wanting to use Mom's dress. I wasn't going to do anything about my suspicions until I met my Aunt Madeline for coffee yesterday. She brought Dad's old laptop that she'd borrowed to do their taxes. She's been helping them with finances since Mom passed. She wanted to show me something she found while organizing their receipts. There was a Target purchase from the early morning of the incident. The items listed were a bottle of red wine, the exact brand that got spilled, some cleaning supplies, and one of those plastic drop cloths people use for painting. Samantha usually only buys white wine. She's always talking about how red wine stains her expensive veneer. The receipt timestamp was 6:45 in the morning. When I showed Dad the Target receipt, he became really silent. Not mad, just silent. He kept touching his wedding ring, his first wedding ring, the one he still wears on his right hand. At last, he said, "I didn't want to admit it before, but there's been a pattern." I also have the screen recording Natalie made during our FaceTime call, but the video quality is too bad to prove anything for sure. Still, I'm saving it, along with all the other records. He told me about how last year's accidental donation of Mom's cookbooks wasn't really an accident. He'd found them in the garage, boxed up and marked for donation weeks before Samantha said she mistakenly put them in the charity pickup. He didn't say anything at the time because he thought maybe I wouldn't realize they were gone. The talk with Dad was difficult. He didn't cry or make big promises. He just sat there staring at his hands and said, "I messed up, didn't I? I let her do this." It was worse than if he'd gotten mad or upset. Meanwhile, Samantha's been acting like nothing occurred. She keeps sending me links to new dresses, each one with a message about how it would be so much more you than my mom's old-fashioned dress. The house situation is still hanging over everything. She's already made a Facebook event for their anniversary party. 35 people confirmed coming so far, with more replies still arriving. She keeps posting about her perfect beach escape and tagging party rental companies in her Instagram stories. Yesterday, she sent me a long message about table setup and asked if the house has enough bathrooms for all the guests. I still haven't mentioned what Joseph, the handyman, told me about the septic system. The video he sent me last week shows it's actually getting worse. You can see water backing up in the yard after it rains. He said it needs repair before any large gatherings, but I just keep forgetting to bring it up whenever Samantha calls. Ava's been staying at her friend's house more often. She says the mood at home is getting strange. Samantha's been extra kind to her, buying her expensive gifts from Amazon and offering to take her on a spa day. Eva thinks she's trying to keep her silent about something, but she's not sure what. The dress preservation expert finally got back to me today. They said the wine stain was strangely concentrated in one spot, like it had been poured rather than spilled. They also noticed some small tears in the lace that happened before the wine incident, probably from someone handling the dress roughly while it was still in the preservation box. I've been looking at that last picture I have of Mom in the dress. There's this little pearl detail on the sleeve that she used to say, "Took her 3 nights to sew on while watching old episodes of Seinfeld." That part's completely ruined now from the wine. It feels purposeful. You know, edit? A lot of you are asking what I'm planning to do about the beach house party. Honestly, I'm just going to let things happen naturally. The septic system is what it is. Edit 2. For those asking about the dress, yes, I'm keeping all the expert records. No, I'm not taking legal action. Some things have a way of working themselves out. Edit 3. Dad just texted asking to come over tomorrow. He says he found some old pictures of Mom he wants me to have. Maybe he's finally ready to really discuss everything. Second update. Thanks for all the messages checking in. A lot has happened this week, and I wanted to update you all on the beach house situation. So here's where things stand. Samantha's planning ... what she continues to call a small gathering, though her guest list has somehow expanded to 35 people. She messaged me this morning asking about parking, how many cars can fit in the driveway, and the bathroom situation. There are 2 bathrooms, right? That should be sufficient. I keep considering mentioning something about the septic system. Joseph, my usual repairman, sent me another message yesterday with a picture of the backyard after the rain. You can see water collecting in areas where it shouldn't, and he said the odor is becoming noticeable. His exact message read, "Hey, wanted to follow up about that septic estimate. Really needs attention before any big events. Getting worse with the rain." Joseph explained that while the septic system has continuing problems, the issues become much more obvious during rain and would certainly be disastrous with heavy use from a large gathering. Dad visited yesterday. He's been withdrawn since everything with the dress, spending more time at the house he shared with Mom before Samantha. He sat at my kitchen counter looking through some old beach house pictures he discovered in a drawer. "Remember when the shower broke that one summer?" He said, "Your mom made us all use the outdoor hose for 2 days. She said it was like camping." Then he got this expression on his face and asked, "Should I be concerned about anything with the house for the party?" I just shrugged and said everything was okay. He looked at me for a moment, then nodded slowly. I think he knows something's wrong, but he's not asking directly. Ava's been sending me updates about Samantha's preparations. Nothing unusual, just typical party stuff. She ordered some decorations from Amazon string lights, some beach-themed centerpieces, and she's having the event catered by a local deli. Eva sent me a picture of all the party supplies laid out on their dining room table. Mom's actually being kind of normal about this. She wrote, "It almost makes me feel bad about what might happen. Almost the strange part is how Samantha's been treating me lately. She's trying really hard to be friendly, sending casual messages about the party plans, asking my thoughts on small details, like she's involving me. Yesterday, she even sent a note saying she hoped I'd be there to celebrate with them. It would almost seem sincere if I couldn't still picture that little smile when she spilled the wine on Mom's dress. I did look at her Facebook page through Ava's account since she blocked me after the dress incident. She's keeping it pretty quiet, just a few posts about looking forward to a lovely celebration with some beach emoji. Nothing too excessive, which actually makes me more suspicious." Joseph sent another update this morning. The septic company gave him a quote for repairs. "It's costly, but that's not even the main concern. They said it needs immediate attention, especially with heavy use." He forwarded me a photo showing where the ground is starting to sink slightly near the tank. His message was pretty clear. This is going to be a problem with 30+ people. I keep picking up my phone to warn Samantha, but then I remember small things like how she accidentally donated Mom's cookbooks last year, or how Mom's jewelry keeps vanishing whenever Samantha reorganizes things, or that pleased look when the wine spilled, exactly where it would cause the most damage to Mom's dress. Eva came over for coffee this morning. She was helping Samantha pack items for the party and discovered the receipt for that bottle of red wine in Samantha's purse. "You know what's strange?" she said. "Mom never drinks red wine. Says it stains her teeth, but she specifically purchased that bottle the morning before going to get the dress. The party is this Saturday." Samantha messaged asking if I could leave the key under the mat on Friday so they can prepare early. She wants to rearrange the furniture and set up a drink station near the downstairs bathroom. I responded with a simple, "Sure, no problem," and turned off my notifications. The septic problem isn't my fault. I didn't break it or make it worse. It's just unlucky timing that it's happening now. At least that's what I keep telling myself. Edit? Eva just sent a picture of Samantha's party outfit. It's all white, because of course it is. Third update. So the beach house party took place yesterday, and it went exactly as I expected, though the aftermath is more dramatic than I thought it would be. I drove past around noon when guests were arriving. Classic arrangement, white chairs, flowers, catering tables. Samantha was wearing this costly white dress, telling people where to place things. The trouble began gradually. Eva messaged around 1:30. Bad smell in the backyard. Mom's getting irritated. Then downstairs toilet won't flush right. By 2 p.m., both bathrooms were having problems. People kept asking about the odor, but Samantha was still trying to stay in control, telling everyone it was probably just low tide. Around 2:30, my neighbor called. "There's something wrong with your yard. Water's coming up everywhere." Ava's messages became more frequent. "The ground's getting really soggy." Mom's yelling at the catering staff because people keep asking to use their van's bathroom. Then everything collapsed during their toast. The ground was so soaked that part of the deck area sank, not dramatically, but enough to tip over the buffet table. Their anniversary cake ended up sliding right into the mess. That's when Samantha stepped into what she thought was just damp grass and sank ankle-deep in it in her white dress. In front of her entire social circle, people started leaving pretty fast after that, not in a rush. But with that uncomfortable "oh, would you look at the time" feeling, the smell had become impossible to ignore, and the wet areas in the yard were growing. This is where things got nasty. Samantha completely broke down, started shouting that I had deliberately ruined her party, that I had planned this whole thing. She was calling people from her phone right there in the yard, desperately trying to find a lawyer who would answer her call on a Saturday, all while standing there in her destroyed dress with mascara running. Dad's reaction wasn't the quiet disappointment I expected. He was furious both at me and Samantha. He started yelling about how much this was going to cost to repair, how careless everyone was being. He kept going back and forth between being angry about the septic system and demanding to know why. Samantha had planned such a large party without checking about maintenance problems first. Eva recorded some of it on her phone, Samantha screaming about lawsuits and lies, Dad yelling about property damage, guests quickly backing out of the driveway. It was complete chaos. I've received about 30 messages from Samantha since yesterday. They range from legal threats to guilt trips to pure anger. "You planned this. My lawyer will hear about this. You've destroyed everything. Just like your mother, always having to be the victim." Dad's been calling constantly too. He's not as thoughtful as before, mostly worried about the repair costs and saying things like, "I don't even know which side I should take here," and "You're both acting like children." He's staying at his brother's house because apparently still too upset to even look at him for not supporting her. The damage is real though. The yard's ruined, the downstairs carpets are destroyed, and the septic system clearly needs replacing. Joseph sent a quote, "It's expensive." Samantha's already posted in our neighborhood Facebook group asking for suggestions for lawyers who handle property damage and intentional emotional distress cases. Ava's been sending updates all day. Apparently, Samantha's called every friend she has, telling them I purposely ruined her party out of jealousy. She's already had 3 different contractors come out to record the damage for possible legal action. I finally blocked Samantha's number after her last message. "You think you're so smart. Just wait. That beach house won't be yours for long once I'm finished with the lawyers. Hope it was worth it." Last update. It's been about a month since the septic tank disaster at my beach house. I wasn't planning to post another update, but enough has happened that I wanted to share how things actually turned out. The immediate aftermath was exactly what you'd expect. Samantha contacted 3 different lawyers, but it died out pretty quickly once they saw Joseph's recorded warnings about the septic system. Turns out, negligent property owner claims don't work well when you plan a 35-person event without asking basic maintenance questions. The repair costs were terrible, about $21,000 for the new septic system plus another $3,000. 4-yard repair and carpet replacement. Insurance covered part of it after my deductible, but it's still a huge blow to my savings. Dad offered to split the costs, which led to a big fight between him and Samantha. They're still arguing about it. Samantha's not talking to me, obviously. She's switched to communicating through passive-aggressive Facebook posts about toxic family members and property damage. Dad's trying to play peacemaker, which is going about as well as you'd expect. He'll call me to discuss repairs or costs, then get quiet when I mention the dress incident. Last week he said, "I know you both did wrong things. Can't we just move past it?" Classic dad, avoiding conflict while trying to keep everyone happy. Ava's been stuck in the middle. She stays with me some weekends. But Samantha started making comments about family loyalty. So now Ava's walking on eggshells. She deleted the videos she took at the party after Samantha went through her phone while she was sleeping. The beach house repairs are finally finished. The new septic system works fine. The yard's been fixed and the carpet's been replaced. The cleanup company did a good job. You wouldn't know there had been a disaster if you didn't know where to look. Here's the strange part. This whole thing has had effects I didn't expect. My aunt isn't speaking to Dad because he wouldn't take a side. 2 of my cousins canceled their usual beach week booking because they don't want to get involved. Family events are awkward now, with everyone trying to schedule around who's not speaking to whom. Samantha's still living at home, but she's been taking space to heal. By spending weekends at her sister's house, she's discussing wanting to move to a larger house anyway, saying the current one has too many bad memories now. Dad just looks exhausted whenever it comes up. The dress is still hanging in my closet. I tried having it professionally fixed, but they said the wine damage is permanent. I've started browsing new wedding dress styles online. It's not the same. but I'm trying to focus on the future instead of what I lost. Eva told me yesterday that Samantha's been looking at property listings for beach houses in a different area. Apparently, she's determined to have a do-over anniversary celebration next year, just without certain people involved. Dad stopped by last weekend to check on the repairs. He walked around the yard examining everything, then just said, "Your mom would hate what this house has done to the family." Not exactly the deep moment of understanding I think some people were expecting. The reality is, there's no dramatic ending here. No one's getting divorced, no one's had a big revelation, and the family's not suddenly brought together in understanding. It's just tense holidays ahead and carefully planned scheduling to avoid uncomfortable encounters. Edit, to those asking about legal consequences. The lawyers basically said everyone should drop it and move on. No one has a strong case either way. Edit, yes, I'm still planning to get married at the beach house. Samantha's already said she won't come if I do. Dad's worried about it, but that's a problem for future me.